What's up, friends and foes? Welcome back to Let's Get Nerdy. My name is Corey.
I'm Wyatt, and this is Go-Go-Godzilla, the series where we go through every movie in the Godzilla franchise and decide which one of them truly is king of them all. And today is Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Boom.
And like usual, we're going to go ahead and start it off with our personal histories and experiences or whatever. So with this movie, Wyatt, what is your history with Godzilla against Mechagodzilla?
Nothing.
Really?
I'm on a theme here of not having seen these last few movies. Again, had seen the poster, never saw the movie. I never saw it in the video store. I never found it in like Hastings or Vintage Stock or any of those type of stores.
Interesting.
I had seen, after having watched it now, I had seen like a 10-minute portion of it on TV somewhere, somehow. I don't know when or what channel it was, but I remember a bit of the fight. But that's all of my experience with it. So.
Okay. Well, I have a good amount of history with this. It's not one of the ones that I'm like, oh, this one changed my life. But it was one we got on Blockbuster. This I know for a fact, like that's how early I was getting this one from Blockbuster, before I'd ever seen 2000.
Oh, okay.
So I remember that. I remember really liking it, really liking the design of the Godzilla. This is one of my favorite designs. And I've watched it a handful of times. And yeah, like I said, really liked it. It at the time wasn't really one of my favorites. I may like it a little bit more right now, but I guess to spoil for the ranking, it's still probably not one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But we'll kind of get more into that.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I guess history just really liked it. There is one particular scene I've watched a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Specifically in a very specific version of that scene, but we'll get into it when we're talking about that scene.
Okay, cool.
Until then, Wyatt, you also have... Do you have 5 facts for us?
I do.
Okay, you look taken aback, so I didn't know if you did.
I'm always taken aback.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have 5 not-so-quick facts, as per usual lately. So our director is returning from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. It's Masaki Tezuka. This one was released on December 14th of 2002. I didn't see anything about like a Japanese film festival for this one.
Mm-hmm.
This one's released just the straight December 14th of 2002. Okay, now this is the one I'm not sure how to say. Kiru. That is derived from the Japanese word for machine dragon.
Oh.
God, I'm gonna fuck this up. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh God. Kikairu. It's hyphenated, so yeah, you can check it out. You're usually better at this than I am. So.
Yeah, Kikairu.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Kikairu.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah.
I'll have like the spelling of it right here, so
right here.
Anybody can prove us wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will. So Japanese baseball star, I wish I could pronounce these names better, and I'm sorry. Hideki Matsui, I think. Hideki Matsui? Yeah, check it out. Give her your spin on it.
Yeah, Hideki Matsui.
Nice. Okay.
Matsui?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So he made a cameo of himself in this movie. His nickname in Japanese baseball was Godzilla, actually. And I read just a very brief bit about him while we were watching this movie. He's pretty big in the Japanese league, and then came over to the States and played in the MLB. Played on several different teams like the Yankees and the Rays and the Athletics and so on and so forth. Won the World Series in 2009, I think is what it said.
Oh, so he won the World. The Yankees.
Yeah.
The Yankees. Okay.
And won he was the MVP that year and stuff for the World Series. I want to read some more about him. He seems pretty accomplished.
Pretty cool. Okay.
But I think he had 2 small scenes, like one swinging a bat in a very dark room.
Yes.
And then one like when he superhero saved a kid from getting hit in the face with a baseball.
Yeah.
And then like told all the kids to get off the field.
Yeah.
As Godzilla was attacking.
And then hit a fucking dinger.
Yeah, like to the moon, dude.
I was kind of expecting them to play with that, and like he hit it up into Godzilla.
Yeah.
But no, he just he just slammed it out of the park.
They could have done so much with that to lean into
Yeah.
like the cool/goofy side of it, but they were just like, nah.
He's like, no, this dude just hits bombs.
Yeah. And
if this was America, Mark McGuire would have just gotten juiced up enough to fight Godzilla. So.
Probably.
But anyway.
So number 5, I thought this was kind of interesting. I didn't know this, haven't seen this anywhere else when reading about these, but I guess like since the early 70s, they had the English dubbings of these movies, the Godzilla movies, done in Hong Kong.
Oh.
And that was just a fact about this one was was done in Hong Kong, and then released to America in 2004. So,
04. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So.
Wow, I could have sworn I saw it before 04, but I think that's also just any year before the year of like 7 years old is just
That's all the same thing.
a wash.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's
Those
my
are
5. Oh,
You
that's
go.
my 5 not so short facts.
I think this is the shortest one yet. So with that, let's go ahead and start getting our thoughts on the actual movie and the plot. So the movie kicks off in probably I would actually say, one of the best intros of a Godzilla movie. It starts off with an attack set in 1999, 45 years after the initial attack in Tokyo. And it turns out that this is not the same Godzilla that attacked in 54. They confirm later that this is a new Godzilla.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is one of the best Godzilla rampages.
It's pretty good.
It's mostly kind of through like a bay and a little bit of a forest he sits, but like, I don't know, it's just a really fun kind of action piece.
Yeah.
Started off. You get a lot of, there's masers everywhere.
It's fucking awesome.
Which is weird because if this is the second fight ever with Godzilla, why do they have masers?
Well, so
you're right. Take it over.
If you remember, Mothra showed up and they decided to go homicidal on Mothra for laying an egg. And then the random giant Bigfoot, I think it said Bigfoot Gaia or something like that, showed up at an airport and then they electrocuted it to death. And you said you think it was from...
I think it was from, what? War of the Gargantuans. There's like which... I think it's War of the Gargantuans. I might have to post a correction somewhere. Which was like kaiju movie that came out in the 60s, and it was kind of the weird replacement for, like, you remember how it was originally supposed to be Frankenstein versus... Because it was kind of the weird replacement for the Frankenstein movie. And it's actually a pretty solid one. I haven't watched the whole movie. I've watched the fight. And because it's just two dudes in gorilla suits, it's like an actual just wrestling match of like they're like drop kicking each other and shit. We'll definitely have to do like a video on it eventually.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
But yeah, so the initial attack ends with who's the main character? Hold on, Akane, Akane, Akane.
We'll go with that. Yeah.
She like fucks up and gets people killed.
Yeah. Not great.
Not great.
Not a good time.
But yeah, the pretty much the fight, like, this makes them lament about their history of like giant monster attacks. I kind of like the way they introed this of like the Prime Minister and I forget what the guy's role at the time.
I don't remember.
But anyway, they limit their history of attacks, and yeah, we get archival footage of the original Mothra movie, I believe.
Yeah.
Which I think they have it replaced with like more modern footage, like a more modern version of Mothra, and then the War of the Gargantuans. I thought it was a really cool intro.
It was.
The credits were awesome too.
Yeah, that opening title sequence or title scene, that was cool. And then I think it was just really cool how like the reporter was doing his thing talking about the tsunami. And then Godzilla like comes up, like you see like the ocean rise behind the reporter. He's standing on a pier and like just Godzilla just rises up out of the sea, and it's all dark and stormy and nasty out and shit. It's probably one of my favorite like entrances of Godzilla throughout the series so far, and the whole thing being shot like it's night and it's raining and there's thunder and lightning and stuff. And then when it goes to hit the title sequence, like the lightning strikes Godzilla's like dorsal fins.
Yeah,
they light up and there's more lightning, and it's so fucking cool.
It's really cool, and I gotta be honest. I know we already talked about this a little bit. This is probably like second to the Heisei era Godzilla. This is probably my favorite look for Godzilla.
Really?
Just because like I think overall it's the best from like all shots. Of like there's some really cool aerial shots of him. Like some of the straight on shots are goofy, but I have yet to see a Godzilla where a straight on shot isn't a little goofy.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's just kind of the nature of it being in a guy in a rubber suit.
Yeah.
But also I think this movie backs up that a guy in the rubber suit is still going to be the best version of Godzilla we'll ever get.
Yeah.
Because just, I don't know, like when you get the full body shots of it when it's moving, I just think this is one of the best looks for Godzilla.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely my number 2. I think the Heisei era it still edges it out a little bit. That's probably just because I have more nostalgia for that era. But
yeah, that's fair. I really like it, but I think it kind of hits like the middle level for me as far as like the suit designs go. And I think like you said, we talked about this when the movie started. I think the body's really like it looks mean and beefy and menacing, and it looks really good from a lot of shots. But then I think there's several where like the head to me just looks kind of like skinny or goofy or something. It just something about the head profile doesn't really hit super well with me in like every shot. I don't know. It just looks like it's narrow. Like it. Like, I think I made the comment to you. Like it looks like a caiman to me, like the crocodile.
You did what in the crocodile?
Don't worry about it. It's a secret.
Okay.
No, it's just because they have the really narrow noses or snouts, I guess rather.
Yeah.
So that's what it made me think of.
That's fair.
But
I don't know, and maybe it's because like and not to talk about future movies, but like this is this design is a little bit more nostalgic for me also because the next movie is a movie I've watched quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it looked really cool, and I love the look of the atomic breath in this one too.
Yeah. I
don't know why, like it wasn't that much different than like previous ones we've gotten, but it just looked really cool. It just always looks really cool.
It is cool. Yeah. I do think that like I like how like the atomic breath kind of like pops like on his fins,
Yeah.
And I think it's cool, but I don't like that as much as like when like they just like they all just light up kind of slowly together.
Yeah.
Like
when it builds up the spine.
Yeah.
That's probably the coolest. Which like I guess the popping is kind of the style they've gone with. I feel like for all the Millennium movies.
Kind of seems like it, yeah.
But anyways, getting back to kind of the rough plot of this movie, this is where they decide to build a Mechagodzilla, but they kind of refuse to call it Mechagodzilla. They call it Kiru, but they build it based around the skeleton of the original Godzilla. That's where we get the reveal that this is a second Godzilla or a new one, and the original one was killed back in 1954.
Yeah.
And they even do some archival footage of the original 54 with Serizawa in it.
They did, and then they had the footage of Serizawa, but then they had the footage of the Godzilla like underwater, like being killed by an oxygen destroyer. But it's just like it's kind of not so great CGI.
Yeah, it looks really goofy.
Yeah,
it looks really updated. Like when it wasn't updated in the same way that like the Mechagodzilla footage was updated.
Yeah.
Like the Mothra and all that looks great, but like it just did not look good.
It didn't hit right.
Which is like an early criticism we'll kind of get out of the way is like we've talked about the varying degrees of success of mixed media with 2000 Mechagodzilla and GMK, and we even said like GMK is probably the best of it so far in this era. This is probably the worst of it.
It is.
There's a lot of footage where like when something flies through the frame, what they'll do is instead of having any kind of dynamics or dynamics to it, they will really just take it real small and go big, or the other way around. And I said this to Wyatt, and I don't want to sound insulting to the filmmakers or whoever edited it, but it really comes off in a way of like when you first get your hands on an editing software and you're playing around with it, you're like, oh, look what I can do.
Yeah.
Because they do that shot like 10 different times for 10 different things in this movie. And like, it just has aged really poorly, and I'm sure even then kind of stuck out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, through most of the shots, like, everything is just, it's all just static, too. Like, nothing moves.
Yeah.
When they're launching it across the screen, which, I mean, you mentioned that, you know, dynamics or dynamic. What'd you say?
Dynamicism?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the right word.
Probably not, but it works.
All words are made up.
Hey, you're right. But yeah, well, and then one scene way later in the movie that stuck out to me the most, I think, as far as it being static, was like Mechagodzilla and there's the moon in the background.
Yeah, yes.
I think on paper it should be a really cool shot, and it is to an extent, but then like he doesn't move at all when he's coming towards like the ground, and he's getting bigger and coming, you know, in the frame more. Like, he just stays in the same exact position the whole way down, and it would have just been a lot cooler if like he could have moved a little bit or had some kind of a pose or something that like.
I agree, and yeah, we don't necessarily have to follow like the plot beat by beat through here. We can kind of jump around.
Oh, thank God.
Just because, like, so the human plot, I guess, to get that out of the way, it centers around this young pilot who, in the 1990 attack, she made a mistake that got a lot of people killed, but for some reason, when the cure program is being put together, the captain and head of the team, I don't know if that's the right word, the commander or whatever, was like wanted to make sure she was on that squad. And yeah, the plot's okay. The human plot is aggressively okay.
Yeah.
Like, you also get a scientist who learned how to meld mechanics and bioengineering. When he also has a daughter, it's very Showa-esque.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's very Showa-esque, and I don't like I think there's interesting ideas with it, but I just don't think it was, to me, done in like a very interesting manner. Like, I'm not really engaged with any of the characters. Yeah. To like past like, that's just like who I'm supposed to follow on screen. You know?
Which is funny because it actually feels like it feels very similar to, I forget which Mechagodzilla movie it is, but one of the Mechagodzilla movies, I think it's the second one. I think it's Terror with like the fish monster, because the scientist is like obsessed with communicating with fish. His daughter's involved with the whole thing too. Yeah. So I wonder if it's like supposed to be kind of a play on that.
It could be.
But anyways, we get in this movie Kiryu, Mechagodzilla, who is built around the bones of original Godzilla from '54. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. And pretty quickly, what's nice about this movie is it's short. It's only about it's an hour and 20 minutes, and so there's like it moves fairly briskly. Like so, even though like the human plot's not very interesting, you're never with it too long. And the action scenes are fairly well like drawn out, in my opinion. Like so, the first like real fight we get it starts with Godzilla just showing up in like I think Tokyo Bay.
I think so.
And one of the coolest shots. So this is we'll go to like anything with the CGI or anything with the special like the added special effects don't look great. Anytime it's the practical suit and like the miniature set, it looks some of the coolest looks in a Godzilla movie. Period. Like particularly the scene that I'm talking about, it was where like Godzilla comes out of the bay and you get that like shot from the soldiers as like the water rains down and Godzilla's just there.
Yeah.
Looks awesome. And then you just get Godzilla running through the city for a little bit. Yeah. And that's also awesome. But then you get the unveiling of
Kiryu. God damn it. Kiryu.
I
can't ever say it right.
We also missed I missed setting it up a little bit. This, like, literally they're revealing Kiryu to the world at this point, and then they get the bleep on the radar that Godzilla is coming. Yeah. And so it sets it up in a really cool way of like, it's fucking go time. Yeah. Very like Top Gun-esque.
That's a very good way to put it. It is. I just broke my pen.
Jesus Christ.
It is very Top Gun-esque. But while they're doing like the PowerPoint presentation with like the whole committee of the world or whatever. Right as like they're getting ready to launch Kiru in the battle, the one scientist that's giving his presentation on like the weaponry that it has or something like that. It's a really short sentence that he does, or phrase that he spits out, but he's like, and now we have like the ultimate weapon, really aggressively
to the World Council.
Like maybe not the best way to do that or phrase that, but
because like literally a scene earlier, there was like the prime minister that was like, this is not a weapon of mass destruction. This is precautionary self-defense. And this guy's like, we got the fucking gun, all right.
We have the biggest stick. Motherfucker. But anyway, so then we get the Top Gun planes flying in, and they're carrying. Oh fuck! Here we go. Kiru,
yeah, you got it.
I'm getting better.
You can just say Mechagodzilla.
No, I have to commit.
Okay.
We're gonna get to it.
Okay.
But he's being carried in, and I don't know why, but it's so fucking cool.
It's super fucking cool.
Like, there's just something about it. I don't know if maybe it's because of like how much I like Pacific Rim, and like when they carry those the Jaegers in like that. Maybe made me think of that, but it's just so fucking cool. Like they carry him in and then drop him. Yeah,
and you get the back shot of him dropping.
Yeah.
And then Godzilla standing there just fucking waiting.
Yeah.
And that's one of those shots that I'm like, that's why I think this is such a cool
That's a great shot.
Because he just looks fucking mean.
He just looks mean as fuck.
And then Godzilla, and then you get a pretty impressive start to the fight.
Yeah.
Of like them immediately unloading all of his Mechagodzilla's arsenal.
Yeah.
Of like he has in Mechagodzilla 2 where he starts regular and gets the I'm gonna just call it the battleizer because that's what it makes me think of from Power Rangers.
Yeah.
This Mechagodzilla just starts out with the full. They're not fucking around. They're like we gotta kill this thing, so we're starting with all of our weaponry. He has like these shoulder rockets that literally has anytime there's a hole in the thing, there's a rocket there. This thing shoots missiles out of everywhere. And then he also, his main, like, the biggest weapon he has is like a Sub-Zero weapon. What do they call it?
Absolute Zero.
Absolute Zero, which is a fucking awesome name for Absolute Zero cannon.
Cool.
It's pretty fucking cool. And so he just starts trying to shoot everything.
Literally, he's got a mazer that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah, and then he's going to work on Godzilla, and it's working.
Yeah, it is working.
He's got Godzilla on the ropes until he's loading the Absolute Zero cannon.
Is he loading it?
He's like getting ready to like, because that's when they're like, hey, let's fucking get this thing over with right now. Yeah,
and then I think they were hitting him with the mazer prior to loading it, and the Godzilla roared. Yeah, and the roar seemed to have
wake up genetic memory.
Hit the DNA key, and then that shut Kiru down for a second, and then having never seen this movie before until a couple of so like I watched it. I mentioned to you like I watched it. Started it on Tuesday, finished it last night, and then we watched it again today. Yeah. But anyway, my first initial viewing of it, when this scene happened, I was so surprised. Like I had no idea that Kiru was gonna start fucking shit up and destroying the city. That was so cool.
It is one of my favorite scenes in Godzilla period. Yeah. That is the scene that I am the most nostalgic for. It's just fucking awesome.
It's so cool.
Because like he immediately just starts unloading. Like I love that there's just no. It still feels mechanical. Yeah. And like it's programmed to do this, but there's no rhyme and reason. It's just like literally march forward and fire.
It's so cool, and I think maybe like it's at the same time having never seen it, but it's also like to me it felt a bit nostalgic because like this is the Mechagodzilla that I played as in Destroy All Monsters Melee. Yeah. They used the same roar sound, and this is a side note, but like the when the jets are flying at Godzilla and they do that maneuver where they fly at him and then fly up after they launch their missiles. Yeah. The missile sound effects were the same ones that are in the game. So that was all hidden.
Yeah, they're the same one in 2000. No, not 2000. In Save the Earth.
Oh, is it the same noise? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. But that was just, I don't know. It's just, I've never thought about like a Mechagodzilla Rampage before, like against the city. I know like the first Mechagodzilla was evil.
Yeah.
But I had just never thought of it in that context before, just to see it. And he has the red eyes too.
Yeah, the red eyes.
And there was a cool reveal of that, like the arm comes down and then like the eyes are red suddenly instead of yellow.
Yeah.
Or amber, whatever you want to say. That was so cool.
Yes.
And then I guess talk about like the backpack.
Yeah.
It was cool to see like a little bit of color.
Yeah.
With Mechagodzilla. Because he's usually always just silver. But there's like the black under, like, I wouldn't say undersuit, but it's not an undersuit. Like
it's like you kind of see like the wiring.
Yeah.
Like, kind of a black mesh.
Yeah.
That breaks it up a little bit more.
Yeah, which is cool. And then you get the blue from the gauntlets that he has in the backpack, and then he has that red stripe down his face too, which is cool.
Which, Wyatt, leads us to a discussion we must have.
Oh yes.
Before we get before we stay on track. Do you need to stop that?
No, they're having a good
time. Hi, Willow. Thank you. A discussion we must have before we get off track any further. Do you want to rank the Mechagodzilla looks?
Yes, but should we wait for Tokyo SOS?
Well, so here's the thing. I don't know if Tokyo SOS it looks that much different.
That's fair.
So we're gonna rank it here.
Okay.
And if it's different enough,
then we'll rank it again.
Okay. I think the reason I'm saying that is because I think this is number one easily by far. I don't think there's an argument for number one against it.
So I was thinking about this last night.
Okay.
I like I said, I watched this over the course of 2 nights. And then watched it again tonight.
Yes.
Last night I was thinking about it, and I was having a hard time deciding which one was my favorite. But however, watching it again tonight and being like I think more awake and more engaged with the movie, this is absolutely number one.
Yes.
It just looks so fucking cool.
It looks so fucking cool. The Battleizer looks better.
Yeah. It just looks fucking mean.
Yeah.
Now to go down from there,
Okay.
I
think let's start at the last spot.
Okay.
I think because we agree there.
Oh yeah.
3, 2, 1. Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah. The legendary one. It looks. I don't mind it. I think I'm a lot less negative on the design than you are.
Yeah, I think so.
But it still looks like it's a bucket of bolts put together. It doesn't look cool. It does not look like this one.
It looks like that one. That one looks like like when you go to Walmart and you get the name brand toys.
Yeah.
And then you would go to like the mall or like Family
Dollar
Dollar
General
and get like the off-brand like really shitty, crappy versions of like the mainstream superheroes and stuff. That looks like the Dollar General version of Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
And he's got like the little stupid claw hand things, or I don't even want to call them claw hands.
Like they're like from the like.
He's a claw machine.
Claw machine, yeah.
Yeah, I hate it.
It's not great.
It's not great.
The fucking fight scene's awesome, but here nor there. So that's definitely the fourth.
That's the bottom.
That's fourth.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I know what you think is third.
Okay. What do you think that I think is third?
I think you think the Showa era, like the original design. Yeah. And I can't disagree. I love the classic. I think it's got a charm to it.
It does.
But it's also not that cool.
He's a little pudgy. He's a little short.
He looks like the Tin Man.
He does.
He looks like if Godzilla was the Tin Man. So number 2 is the Mechagodzilla 2 from the 90s one, which honestly, I think the Mechagodzilla 3 or Kiru is the only design that I'm like, that's fucking cool.
Really?
think Mechagodzilla isn't that cool looking.
I love Mechagodzilla too.
You know who is undeniably number 1 over everybody?
Oh no.
Who do you think I'm going to say? Who do you think I'm going to say?
No, not Mulgira.
Jet Jaguar.
Oh, okay.
No. Okay, Mulgira. I think Mulgira has a very good argument for 2. But that's not
absolutely
but
not.
But he's not Mechagodzilla, so we'll keep him out of this because it's unfair. He's,
that dude has a carrot for a nose. He's like a metal.
He's got a drill.
It looks like a carrot.
Mechagodzilla 2 looks like a dog.
Looks like a dog.
He's all like got like a stringy nose.
What are you talking about?
Mechagodzilla 2?
He sounds like a dog.
He looks a little bit like a dog.
No, he doesn't.
He looks like when like a hound is doing that and all of its neck fat is forward. Mechagodzilla 2, mid.
Rude.
I also think Mechagodzilla is dead. Mogira.
Absolutely.
Mogira.
Wait.
Mogira.
Oh yeah, Mechagodzilla is the bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid also.
Very.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Mechagodzilla is the worst of the bug creatures. Yeah.
Then the spider?
Well, no, the flying bug creatures.
Oh.
I should have
the
that
3?
better. Yeah. There's only 4 Mechagodzillas.
That's fair.
So
I guess so. Mothra, Batra, Megagearus.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Bada boom.
Anyways, getting back to whatever topic the fucking the Mechagodzilla rampage.
Yes.
So another thing I wanted to talk about this
Yeah.
to sidetrack us even further. This is when I mentioned a scene that I've watched time and time again.
Yeah.
This is it. In a very particular context, because if you're a child of the 2000s and you were on YouTube a lot, you watched AMVs. Did you ever watch AMVs?
Oh, yes.
And there was one made for this.
Oh, no.
Set to I Hate Everything About You by 3 Days Grace. And god dang, 10-year-old me watched that every day for a summer.
Dude.
I found that, and then they set it to the they set when he fucking opens up and shoots all the missiles.
Yeah.
They set that to the chorus, and every time I was just like, that shit.
That's odd. So the one that I used to watch all the time in AMV with 30 Days Grace.
Yeah.
It feels so cringy to say now.
No, it's not.
But it was the Animal I've Become, but it was the 300.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about though, and that one's really good. It's the same way. There's the I Will Not Bow, set to the Halo 3 commercial.
So the Halo 3 commercial?
Yeah, the one I don't know if it's a commercial, but it's the one where Master Chief is going through the battle through the battlefield and shit.
There's a few of those.
There's a few of those, but the one it might just be.
Is it the one where it's two little kids sitting on they're sitting on the ground looking up at the sky and they're like, you ever wondered what else is out there? And it's there's some. Okay, I'm not gonna try and script the whole thing, but the two kids are talking and then it cuts to Chief's helmet on the ground and then he wakes up, grabs his helmet and pops his helmet back on and they're like, oh, I think we lost him. He's like, not yet.
Yeah,
and he flops the bubble shield down.
Yes.
Dude, that fucking trailer, that makes me want to run through a wall. That is such a cool trailer.
That's a trailer that makes me so mad.
What?
Because.
Oh, okay.
Because as a fucking awesome, I've told you this. I think Halo 1, 2, and 3 is the greatest trilogy in video games.
So
period.
Fucking good.
It's untouchable. But that trailer makes me mad because you can never do anything that fucking cool.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
In the game.
Yeah.
You're he does shit in that game that you're in that trailer that I'm you still can't do an infinite.
Yeah, that's
so you can kind of do it, but
almost.
But not like that.
But not like that. Yeah. Dude, that. Oh my god.
See, the one I really liked, the AMV I really liked, which we're just doing this now. Was anything set to Dragon Ball Z was always good. AMV Dragon Ball Z videos were the goat of AMV videos. I don't care what else you bringing to me, even Godzilla. Dragon Ball Z was the goat.
I mean, I've never really gotten that into Dragon Ball, so I can't really
The one I genuinely think it's the greatest AMV of all time. It's Bring Me to Life Evanescence set to the Brawly fight.
Did we just make a new series?
We might have to react to some AMVs. Well, now they'll get copyrighted all day long because it's song. But anyway, it's fucking awesome. Getting back to what we're talking about.
Wait, I have one more side note. Hold on. Wait a minute. I don't know why. We were talking about 30 Days Grace, and I'm just excited because I'm going to see them this weekend. So
yeah,
that's all I got. That was my last little side note.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I guess for another side
track. Oh, here we go.
I didn't love the song they put out with them.
The new one?
Mayday. So what bothers me about it, because it sounds really good. Sonically, it's really good. I just don't like the way he goes, will never say Mayday, because that's also not really how Mayday works. I get it's supposed to be like this. We'll never give up, but I feel like there's a way cooler way of saying that than like we'll never say Mayday.
I mean,
moving on.
I just think it's cool that Adam is back.
Yes,
but Adam's singing with Matt.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Anyways, this is probably the furthest off topic that we've gotten.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anyways,
the Rampage, the Mechagodzilla Rampage is so fucking cool. It has probably one of my favorite shots.
Yeah.
Is of just Mechagodzilla, of Kiryu walking through the building.
Yeah.
Is just fucking, come on.
It's fucking cool.
It's really cool.
And then it has one of my favorite shots.
Yes.
Which I really, if I could find a poster of this, I would frame it and put it on my fucking wall. But it's the sun setting, and Kiryu is like powered down at this point. He's ran out of juice, and he's just kind of like sitting there in like the cityscape, and there's like a crane in front of him. So it just looks so fucking cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try and find a poster of that.
And there's so many, like I told you, like it was almost kind of melodramatic the shot.
Yeah.
There's so many like anime like ending credit like shots in this, particularly like I guess we'll get to it when we get to the end. Like the shot where she's on his shoulder and like the sunset with Godzilla and like that's the most like they even roll credits like that. It feels like the end of an anime.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Sorry.
You go.
Nope. I'm out of here.
No.
Does it seem odd to you that like they made such a point to be like he can only be powered for like 2 hours?
Yeah.
Like that seems like a really. I know it's a giant robot, but that seems like a really short time frame.
I think the idea was to create tension of like, oh man, how like. Can they beat Godzilla in that time frame?
I mean, that's fair, yeah.
But they don't necessarily like play with that in such in too much of an effective way.
Yeah.
So
they just they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna. Okay, no, I got a gripe.
Okay.
They're like, oh yeah, we can recharge him in the field if needed, but we have to siphon power from like an airfield base or whatever, Air Force base, and then give that through microwaves to a jet that is then going to shoot it to him.
Very convoluted.
It's a lot. It's a lot of steps, but then they get to the end of the movie, and I don't know if there just wasn't a base close by or whatever, but then they're like, yeah, we got to take the whole entire city of Tokyo. We got to take all of its power to recharge him. So how were they going to get that much power from the base?
I think the idea was that he was completely drained.
So it just took more?
They just needed like...
It just seemed like kind of bad planning.
Yeah. it's...
Which, okay. And I'll be honest, like, I don't dislike it as much now, but like when I was watching it and I was half asleep Wednesday night, Wednesday night, I think I fell asleep at a point, and then like for like 5 minutes, and then I woke back up. And then all of a sudden, there's just this radio dish antenna like shooting energy into.
Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, and my sleepy self was like, "That's kind of dumb."
Yeah.
And then, so I don't know. Okay, and I'll be honest too. When I watched it over the course of the 2 days, I know I was tired both times, and I think that affected my initial viewing of it. But I really didn't like this movie that much. I liked it a lot more tonight. Yeah. So that's it.
That's fair. So kind of moving along here. Again, there's the human plot of kind of the daughter of the scientist. You find out her mom died.
Traumatic.
Very traumatic in that she's very sensitive when talking about life and death.
Yeah.
And yeah, this stuff is not. It's not the most engaging. I don't know why this plot didn't necessarily grab me.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually they kind of are hemming. I will say, I guess talking about humans, plot and all that, they are like kind of spend the whole time debating on what to do with Mechagodzilla and the Mechagodzilla program. Apparently the scientists went and found the issue and corrected it and fixed it so that the genetic memory, whatever, of the bones doesn't trigger again. And so it does lead to this really cool, again, very anime shot of the, like, commander of the pilots of the Kiru program, like, confronting the Prime Minister in the lobby of one of the buildings of, like, you have to let us go again. Because Godzilla's showing up again and started attacking again in another fucking awesome, like, rampage scene, because it's set tonight, and it has one of the really coolest shots of, like, Godzilla's, like, literally, like, knocking jets out of the air. Second movie in a row that he's doing this, which is funny, because, like, for the longest time we had never really seen that. So now 2 movies in a row he's just a boom, boom, sniping them. Yeah. And you get a shot of, like, a flaming jet going down and blowing up in front of Godzilla as he's, like, has, like, a red, like, light behind him, kind of silhouetting him. Again, silhouetting him. One of the other, like, coolest shots, like, I think we've said this now, but we've said it to each other, like, there's so many, like, just fucking awesome shots of Godzilla in this movie. Yeah. And that is one in particular. But then you get the moment of the Prime Minister, of, like, the commander confronting the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister just starts walking by him, but then without looking at him says, launch Kiru. Yeah. In a super fucking anime epic moment that was, like, I thought was really cool.
Oh, it's super cool. It was. What are you laughing at?
Just go. You go.
No, it was cool because it was. It was just like. I don't know, like, it was one of those scenes that, like, again, that when I watched it the first time, I was like, yeah, that's kind of dumb. And then watching it tonight, it was so much cooler, and I don't know why. Maybe because I wasn't having sleep.
Yeah, well, I think when you watch one of these movies, like, all the way through, like, there's a part of you that buys in a little bit more. Yeah. And that moment was just fucking cool.
It was just cool, because, like, there's a lot riding on that decision of them to launch Kiru or to not. Yeah. It's like Godzilla could destroy the whole fucking city, or they could launch Kiru, and then Kiru could destroy the whole city, or they could do it together, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it cool, is because, like, everybody else was, like, all of his other handlers were like, no, fuck off, like, and then we're telling the dude to stop following him. Yeah. And, like, you know, saying, like, it's just not going to happen, and then he goes, launch it. And then they're all like, what? Yeah. And then the fucking commander is like, all right, let's fucking go.
And it was cool, too, how, like, the Prime Minister was like, before he said, you know, permission granted or whatever, he was like, our whole futures are riding on this decision, and then, like, walks down the stairs and then tells him to go, but then he's like, I'll take full responsibility. Yeah. Which is just cool. Yeah. Because he said that, this is the second time he had said that, because he said that when during the first attack that he was going to take total responsibility for Kiru, you know, his loss of control, but he was going to do it again. I mean, it's just pretty cool that he was going to own the whole thing.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if a leader of a country took responsibility. But
yeah, wow, that's funny.
But now we're here to talk about the final fight. Why we're not going to get into that? What did you think of the final fight of Godzilla versus Kiru? Round 2.
So I like it, but I don't love it at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. To me, it felt, and I know we compare these movies, or I do, compare these movies to wrestling quite a bit. It felt like when a match never really gets started. Yeah. Like, you can feel, like, the moments of it, and you're like, oh, it opens with really cool energy. Yeah. And then just doesn't really go anywhere. That really felt like, because it opens with, like, yes, we kind of complain about, like, the weird shot of Mechagodzilla in front of the moon, like, landing, and it doesn't look great. But it also opens up with him, like, rocket sliding into a shoulder check into Godzilla.
Which was fucking
and
awesome.
launches Godzilla, which is a fucking awesome moment, because, like, it's, like, literally seconds away from Godzilla, like, blasting a nurse and a army guy. No, a nurse with, like, a child.
Yeah, she's running to, like, the evac truck.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite moments in the movie.
Yeah, especially because, like, you borderline had Mechagodzilla been like,
yeah, it was so cool.
Very cool. And then from there, it's just kind of like you get the weapons going back and forth, and you do get the awesome moment of, like, Godzilla, like, hitting him with the atomic breath and, like, starting to break down, like, the battleizer and like immobilize some of Mechagodzilla's weapons.
Yeah.
The beginning of the fight, I think, is really the strongest.
It is. I totally agree. I think the front half of it is great. I just feel like they I don't know, they had like a lull in the middle of it, and then they never really recovered from that lull to me. I mean, there was some, like, it felt like they had a really cool beginning and a nice ending to it, but it didn't feel like there was a lot of meat in the middle of the fight, which, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but...
Because then you also get the moment of, like, what was it? It's the moment when Mechagodzilla first gets, like, fully knocked down, and they have to, like, revive him. I feel like from there, that's when it kind of, like, just loses momentum.
Yeah.
Because, there's, like, I guess a moment where Mechagodzilla gets knocked down, and then the girl who's piloting him has to, like, get in Mechagodzilla to manually pilot from the inside.
Yeah.
And, like, there's this big just moment and show of, like, all right, let's see what you got. And, like, she, like, gives it everything to get him up. And, like, goes, like, whoa! And then Godzilla just, like, hits him with the atomic breath from behind.
Yeah.
And just knocks her out completely.
Yeah.
Knocks her down again. And, like, this time they kind of tease that, like, she and Mechagodzilla are dying.
Yeah, it was like... And, like, we talked about it while we were watching the movie. It felt like they had this, like, big sword of, like... Or big... I don't know. It felt like this big monumentous moment where, like, okay, she gets him up, and here we go, where like they're gonna fuck Godzilla up, and then it's just like immediately just cut, and it kind of, I think it just lost a lot of the weight to the scene for me anyway, because it felt like they could have got back up and fought a little bit, and maybe, I don't know, a few minutes of fighting.
Yeah.
And then they get knocked down again.
Yeah.
And then that like dizzy whirling, okay, what are we doing? We're having flashbacks type shit.
Yeah.
That would have landed a lot more.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like it just took away from what was happening, and I guess that maybe just the whole end fight seemed a little weird once it got past the initial fight, because and like you said, like it starts out great, and like once Godzilla like knocks off all the battleizer shit, like Kiryu even like has a good few moments of like moving really fast and like just kind of kicking his ass.
And like there's like a scene, there's like a shot of like Mechagodzilla like boxing the shit out of Godzilla, which is funny because it's usually the other way around.
Yeah, and he's hitting him with like both his fists and like headbutting him, and then like hitting him with his tail, and like just a lot of I don't know, combinations. Is that the right?
Well, and there's like scenes where like Mechagodzilla like trigger this rockets and will like use it to shove them through buildings and shit.
Yeah,
and it's all really cool until you get to the what we all just kind of went over.
We got Godzilla with a knife in this movie.
Oh yeah, Mechagodzilla.
No, Godzilla. It's a joke. I'm just making a joke. But remember that? Have you seen that like Vine where it's like the little kid running away with a knife and his mom's like, "What have you got? A knife."
Yeah. Okay.
Because like Mechagodzilla stabs Godzilla in the arm and then like shocks him. But Godzilla hits him, I think, with the breath, and then kicks him, and he kicks him through a building, and he pulls out the knife from his arm, and there's like a couple second shot of him just standing there with a knife.
No, that's a fucking great shot. How I wish they had committed and Godzilla figured out how to knife him immediately and like, all right, let's fucking go. But that's not.
That would have been great.
That would have been awesome.
But alas, he just tossed it over his shoulder.
Yeah,
which was still kind of cool. But
yeah, because he doesn't need it. He's Godzilla.
Yeah. So anyway, Mechagodzilla's knocked down for the second time in a row, and then there's not really much left.
No,
at that point.
He gets up, and so one of the pilots makes like a sacrifice play. In a kind of a sick shot of like Godzilla like catches him, and then like just knocks half the jet. Yeah. Like breaks the jet in half, kind of like reminiscent of the classic train shot from the 54.
Yeah, it was.
And then the guy makes a point of like he can't use his atomic breath right now. Go, go, go. Which is like, no, he can.
He can.
There's nothing like he opens his mouth to use his atomic breath. His mouth is technically open. He's just biting you.
Yeah, like you're not stopping it. It's not like a cork on a bottle. Like you're not stopping anything from happening. Which I don't know why he didn't just drop him and use it, but I guess.
But we then get the awesome shot of like they finally load up the Absolute Zero cannon, and like she like launches Mechagodzilla into Godzilla, takes him into the ocean, and fires the Absolute Zero cannon in the water.
Yeah.
And I actually remember I didn't like the scene when I was a kid.
Is it because Godzilla?
Because Godzilla lost.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. And still, right now, I think it's okay. I like the like. There's kind of like a mushroom cloud that freezes over as it billows out.
That's cool.
That's a pretty cool effect. And then as it like disperses, Godzilla's still there.
He's still there.
And unaffected. He's just over it. Like he has a huge scar on his chest, which I thought was pretty cool.
He did get fucked up.
Yeah, and I think I could be wrong from memory. I think he keeps into the next movie.
I think so.
So that's also pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
But then you also like kind of get a tease of more of a fight.
Yeah, it's a tease.
Yeah, of like Mechagodzilla. I don't know. I'm having trouble with that one. Comes out of the water and just stops. Like he runs out of power, and that leads to one of the coolest shots of, like I mentioned already, her on Mechagodzilla's shoulder.
Yeah. With
Godzilla. Like that's the poster I want of like.
I would hang that one up too.
Very reminiscent of like Gundam and all that.
Yeah.
So, and I think for the most part that's the end of Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. There's an after credit scene that absolutely means fucking nothing.
It's just the weird scientist dude trying to flirt with the pilot more.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "I'll buy you guys dinner."
Yes.
And then I don't know if it's like she's flirting or if she's just like, "Leave me alone."
Yeah, I think it's a little bit like, "I'll buy you dinner if you leave me the fuck alone." But anyways. Do you have any final thoughts before we get to the ranking? Because I don't have a lot.
Final thought. I'm glad I finally saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked this design for Mechagodzilla more, but I definitely like it even more now and appreciate it even more. That's about all I got. I think I think it's pretty good, pretty solid.
Yeah. I really like this one. I think I seem more down on it than I actually am, if I'm being honest. No, I really like this one. Again, there are specific moments that are very nostalgic, primarily that, like, I think the Mechagodzilla Rampage is the best part of this whole movie, without a doubt.
Hello.
Without a doubt. And, like, but there's, what I will say is, like, the highs are pretty high, and the lows are pretty low, but, like, this movie, I don't feel like does anything, like, spectacular. Like, even I would say, and this is probably us starting to get into the rankings, like, even comparing it to, like, Megaguirus, I would say the Megaguirus fight was outright just better. Like, that movie as a whole may not be interesting, and this is probably where we should start getting into the rankings. So with that, you don't know, Go-Go-Godzilla. We go through every Godzilla movie to see which one is the king of them all. And where's the ranking currently standing?
Okay, before I do that, small side note, and then I'm done with side notes for this video. I think I actually, for once, almost like Mechagodzilla more in a movie than I do Godzilla.
Godzilla?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't really get a lot of other than that awesome opening scene.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of, like, awesome Godzilla moments.
It felt like Mechagodzilla very much had the front seat in this movie, which is, I don't know, kind of different. But anywhoozles, this list, we got 31 movies. At the bottom of the barrel still is Godzilla 98. Number 30 is Godzilla Raids Again. 29, Godzilla's Revenge. 28, Son of Godzilla. 27, Return of Godzilla. 26, The Terra Mechagodzilla. 25, Godzilla vs. Megalon. 24, Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. 23, Invasion of the Astro Monster. Go away, YouTube. Number 22 is Godzilla vs. King Kong from 1962. 21 is Godzilla vs. Kong from 2021. 20 is Godzilla vs. Mechaguirus. Number 19 is Godzilla from 2014. 18 is Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah from 91. 17 is Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. 16 is Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. 15 is Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. 14 is Destroy All Monsters. 13 is Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Number 12 is Godzilla vs. Gigan. 11, Godzilla vs. Biollante. Number 10 is GX Kid A New Empire. Number 9, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. Number 8, Godzilla vs. Mothra, The Battle for Earth. Number 7, Godzilla 2000. Number 6, Godzilla from 1954. Where am I at? Oh my god.
You just said 1954.
Yeah, okay. Number 5, Mothra vs. Godzilla from 62. Number 4 is GMK All Out Attack. We're just going to shorten it to that. Number 3 is Godzilla King of the Monsters from 2019. Number 2 is Godzilla vs. Destroyer. And number 1 still is Godzilla -1.
You know what's crazy about that list? I spaced out for it for a really long time while you were reading that.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about it. And when my brain came back, I was like, oh yeah, he's probably almost done.
Yeah.
And you just had reached 15. There's still half a list to go. So with that,
that's hilarious.
I do think this one is going to be fairly middle of the pack. Just because I kind of want to reiterate, I don't think this one does anything super spectacular, but I also don't think it, other than the scene that we're talking about, that middle scene there of the Mechagodzilla rampage, is just fucking legendary.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't do anything outright terrible. So I definitely think this is going to be I am almost tempted to do. Where are you thinking?
So I'm gonna put it at 11.
Above Biollante?
Above Biollante, yeah.
So I was actually thinking below Gigan, because I think Gigan's a little bit more consistently entertaining. And you've got the ridiculous fight. That's when you have the Godzilla doing the ollie shuffle.
Yeah.
I think it's more entertaining and has better moments than the original Mechagodzilla. I think it's better than the original Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, I agree.
But every movie above it, Gigan, Biollante, GXK, I see myself watching again. There's even some movies, but I could definitely put this below the Astro Monster, but somebody made terrible mistakes. I almost think I could argue, if I'm rethinking it now, kind of in the Ghidorah, three-headed monster, Space Godzilla range. I guess what do you think about it? Are you still at 11?
I'm still at 11. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna lock in at. You know what? I'm gonna go below Godzilla 14. 2014.
Oh my God.
Just because because all the movies above it, I think have moments that I'm fuck yeah. But that Godzilla.
There's some fuck yeah moments in this movie too. I put it above Biollante because I thought going into Biollante that I would like Biollante. I would appreciate Biollante more coming out of the movie, whereas I didn't really appreciate Biollante that much more. I still think Biollante is cool, but I don't love Biollante. This one makes me like this version of Mechagodzilla even more.
Okay, so I agree with that. So that's why I will stick to 13. Because I think below Gigan is fair, because I think Gigan's just more consistently entertaining.
It's a fun movie.
And so I'm sticking with 13 above the original Mechagodzilla.
Okay.
So with that, if you don't know, what will usually happen is if we disagree, we play rock, paper, scissors, one round, whoever wins gets their way. It's the most scientific way we thought of being able to do this.
It's proven time and time again. That's why the Invasion of the Astro Monster is way lower than it should be. That one is the most crazy, I want to say. Fucking absurd.
Because that one's so fucking good.
It's so good.
Anyways. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Fucking who gives a shit? The new ranking is number 1, Godzilla -1. Number 2, Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Number 3, King of the Monsters from 2019. Number 4, GMK All Out Attack. Number 5 is Godzilla vs. Mothra from 1962. At number 6, we have Godzilla from 1954. At number 7, we have Godzilla 2000. At number 8, we have Godzilla versus Mothra, Battle for Earth. Number 9, we have Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. At number 10, we have GXK, The New Empire. At number 11, we have Godzilla vs. Biollante. At number 12, we have versus Gigan. Oh, fuck. Yeah. At number 11, we have Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. At number 12, we have Godzilla vs. Biollante. At number 13, we now have Godzilla vs. Gigan. At 14, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. At 15, Destroy All Monsters. At 16, we have Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. At 17, we have Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. At number 18, we have Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. At number 19, we have Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah from 1991. And now at number 20, we have Godzilla 2014. At number 21, we have Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. At number 22, right? Yep, 22, we have Godzilla vs. Kong from 2021. At number 23, we have Godzilla vs. King Kong from 1962. At number 24, we have Invasion of the Astro Monster. At number 25, we have Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. At number 26, we have Godzilla vs. Megalon. At number 27, we have Terror of Mechagodzilla. At number 27, we have Return of Godzilla. At number 29, we have Son of Godzilla. At number 30, we have Godzilla's Revenge. At number 31, we have Godzilla Raids Again. And at number 32, at the very last place, we have Godzilla 1998. This list is getting bigger by the day, or by the week, or by the video, however you want to say it. Next up, the movie we're covering next is a direct sequel to this one, Godzilla Tokyo SOS.
Yep.
This is a movie I have way more history with, and I do expect to be higher on.
Yeah, same.
That remains to be seen.
I'm really excited for this next one.
I am too. With that, we're getting closer to the end too.
We're getting close.
We got about 3 movies left, I think.
Yeah,
I think 3
so.
movies left. So join us. Until then, we'll be back. You take it. What do I usually say here, Wyatt?
I don't know. You guys be good. We gotta get back to nerding out. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
That was bad. I tried.